In this video, we're going to focus on basic image filters. And the basic image filters is a very important part because they basically show you how to color or adjust an image. So imagine you want a black and white image, or you want to filter out specific colors or give it a glue or a hue color. In that case, image filters are very suitable. So let's start to explore how we can use the basics of this. So the first thing what we need to do here is we're going to get the image data. And for this, instead of using a real image, we're going to just create an image first. So what I'm going to say here, a constant, and let's say here image data. And then here, I'm going to say ctx.get image data. And what this really does is basically we're going to grab from the image the data information. And of course, here we have 4 parameters. The first one is the x and y position, and then we have the width and height. So what I'm going to say here, 100 pixels by 100 pixels, and let's say 250 by 250. So once I did this, I do console log, and then we just say image data. Save this, refresh, open up developer tab, and then you can see here we get the image data, and we get a lot of information here, which is very important. As you can see here, we get all of this information here, and you might be confused, what is this exactly? Well, if you ever saw on your television those dots or the LED light where you can see the colors, basically the pixels itself, then you would see, if you will be very close to your TV screen, you will see the red, green, and blue color. And that's basically this here. So let's start to explore here what I'm really talking about. Because we get this of 250 by 250, and the 250 by 250 eventually is the values that we have here. So if we do 250 by 250, so if we do that, well, let's calculate it. I'm going to show you. Console log 250 by 250. Save that. Refresh. So you get 625. You might see here, well, hold on. Wasn't this here a far higher number of 250,000? That is correct. So how is this calculated? Well, we have here basically the 62,500. This number here refers to the amount of pixels we have, but it doesn't calculate what we call the multiplier of the RGBA colors, which is the red, green, blue, and the alpha value, and those are 4. So every item has basically 4 arrays in here, or 4 items in every pixel. So this is very important. So that's why if you would do this multiplied by 4, you will get the value of 250,000, as you can see here. Alright, so this doesn't really matter. This sounds all very technical, but if you understand how that works in colors, you will understand that how a TV screen works, but you also understand how we can give like a filter on top of a color. So let's start to work on this. So what I want to do now is, we have this here, and I'm going to start to create a for loop. And this for loop has just only one goal. So let's say here, let I equals 0. And then what we want to loop through it, and we're going to give it a color. We're going to assign a specific color to the pixels. And then you will see what will happen. And as we change that, you will also notice the common patterns you might notice very often on your TV screen. So let's see this. So we have this here, and then we're going to say here, we're going to loop through this based on the amount of the image data. And what I'm talking about is this here. Oh, not that, but it's here. We have this, the amount of items in here, all these loops here. We're going to loop through all of these items individually. So we're going to say here, we have the data.length, which is 250,000. We say .data.length. And then we're going to keep on looping through that, and then we say I++, or more specifically, we could even increment this even more. So let's say I plus equal 6, and you will see then what will happen. This will be very interesting. So in here, I want to modify the pixel image. What I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to grab this specific pixel, and that pixel here, as a data, I'm going to say I plus 0. And this, remember, this here, let's give this a color of 190, is basically our red color. So the first one of the 4 is red. Remember RGB, RGBA. So this is the first one. So we're going to focus on that one. So what I can do is I'm just going to copy this, paste this in here 4 times, and then this will be our alpha. And this will be our blue, and here we have our green. Now let's give this some different colors. Let's put this on 0, and I'm going to give this here 2, 1, and then this one here, alpha of 255 would mean 100% visibility, and then here, of course, the colors. So every one of these have a different color assigned to it. So if I save this now, then what I want to do here is I want to say ctx.put image data. This is very important. So you might say, what does this really do? Well, if you are very familiar, well, let me just grab the default codes, which is our image. The data image is basically our image. And then we have here, comma. We're going to just get the same precision here of 100 by 100. I'm going to keep that in there. So what does this really mean? Put image data. If you're familiar with CRD, or maybe more specifically in HTML, we have get, we have post, we have put, and we have delete. And CRUD the same is CRUD with create, read or retrieve, update, and delete. And in this case, well, the create equals post, that should be basically in here. Get is the reading part, and put is considered an update. So basically, put is the command for update. And what we're really doing here is, we have already this code here. So this is already existing, this image. And this image, basically converted an image into computer language, is just pixel codes or coordinations. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to update that specific item as well. That's why we have here the put image, which would indicate update the image that we have. So if I'm going to save that, I'm going to refresh here, and there we are. And now we get this nice purple item here. And if you look very carefully, you will see these lines are diagonal. Alright, so what we could do here is, for example, we can adjust this. Let's say we're going to put it at 4. If I save this and refresh, you can see here now everything will have a different color again. It will start to adjust. If I put it on 5 and save this, refresh, you will see something completely different, which is basically, refresh again, so everything is fully black. You can see here these are very common lines you might notice in a TV screen. We could even increase this by saying this 255, so we have a strong green color. Refresh, and then you get a very light color. And if we do everything 255, of course, what will happen is we get then a fully white item here. And that's basically how it works, or fully white. It looks all white, but basically all these colors together create the white. And you can see that there's, if you look very carefully, you might see some colors between it. And this is the core essence of it, of controlling these colors. If I change this again, you change that, you'll see here. So with this, you can give it what we call a hue or a different color, or a filter with black and white, and all kind of ways of playing around with this. And this is, of course, you can go very advanced in this as well.